and welcome to the show. We've got a lot of good stuff lined up today because I love to create fabric, to make my own look. I mean, you can buy lots of good stuff, but it's kind of fun if you can do it yourself. So that's what we're going to show you today, some bleaching and foiling and embellishing. We've got a lot of good things on the show. But joining me is my partner in crime, Joan, and it's good to have you back,
Thanks,
Joan.
Linda. I'm so happy to be here today.
Oh, well, that's good. And you, of course, have just made a new jacket for the occasion.
I have, and I always try to model after what you have.
You said anything I can make, you can make bigger.
Exactly.
So
but somehow your black and white and my black and bronze didn't work.
Isn't it amazing?
It is.
I like both of them. Let's show you some new things.
Thank you.
So, okay, what do you think of this one?
Oh, I love the color combination.
This started out as plain black. And then with the bleaching and the stamping and such, it just took all the color out of it. I mean, not all the color. And when it takes the color out, it turned it all this gold color.
It's a beautiful color.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. And I love the zipper and the
and the plain
accent.
collar. It's kind of nice to leave a plain collar. That's just that kind of works. So shall we take the jacket off and show you there's more?
Oh.
Because when you bleach on different fabrics, it seems to always come out a different color. So this is our slinky fabric that we use so much. And when you do the same kind of stuff on that, it'll come out that bronze color.
Did we use the same product to make them?
Yeah. They come out different colors.
It's amazing how many colors dye into black.
Yeah, black is an interesting
combination.
Combination, yeah.
That's right.
Let's have another look. Okay, this one is the foiling, and you know that I've loved to do foiling for a long time. And that means that you use this adhesive.
Right.
And it's kind of a gray, goopy looking stuff. And you don't do this while it's on, but it's so easy to show it right now. You'll take the cap off, and you'll just draw or stamp or put this on however you want to put it on.
Right.
You let it dry, and then you take the foil, colored side up, iron it, let it cool. When you pull it off, it sticks to the glue.
Do you have a hot iron when you're doing it?
Not really hot, but something, because you can fry this. If you see the smoke coming, you know it's a little too hot.
So, okay.
And you can also put a Teflon sheet or something on top so that you don't sort of get your iron on some of the other parts of it. So that's kind of a good idea.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And it washes.
Does it dry?
Well, I don't like putting it in the dryer. It doesn't like going in the dryer, but it washes beautifully.
Looks absolutely gorgeous.
So, you can do the entire jacket, and you can really do some interesting things.
And when she turns, the different colors that are reflecting in the light, it's amazing.
This is good.
Endless.
Endless. And then there's more.
Oh.
I think. Here we go. Here we go. And isn't this a fun thing to do
That
with a skirt?
is beautiful.
So this is just cotton. And just scribble and make some designs all over.
How do we make those designs so intricate?
Well, what you're going to do is you're going to put your medium in bottles like this. But if you want to make some fine lines, you put it in with the fine tip.
Okay, so we have different choices of tips.
Yeah. So you can see that
it's beautiful.
Nothing is sacred once you start doing this.
No.
Okay. So
that is absolutely gorgeous.
Do we have one more? We have jeans, I think.
Oh.
Yeah. So, if you want to go the whole way, you just take and of course you can bleach on already patterned fabrics.
Right.
So there is our classic coat with all those sections. And then, of course, jeans.
It's been a hard day's night.
Does it sound familiar?
Oh, it does for you.
Yeah, and for you, teaching school all day.
That's
so
true.
There you go.
Oh, beautiful combination. Beautiful.
Once you start.
Interesting that denims usually turn out with a white underlay.
Yes. Yeah.
And then your other fabrics.
Well, this one is a polycotton, and look what happened to it.
Oh, those are beautiful.
You normally think you'd have to use a pure something.
Right.
But I thought, well, why don't we just play around and just use polycotton, and here it comes out kind of brown.
It's very intriguing to see the different colors that come out of the black fabric.
So this is not an exact science.
No?
So this is the good news of this. You never know what's going to happen.
And sometimes might it not work?
Well, I would think pure polyester is probably not going to do anything.
Okay.
So, yeah. In fact, I should show you this one, too, before we get too far. This one is an existing colored fabric. So you don't have to use a plain fabric.
Oh, okay.
And so I wrote party and lots of stuff all over this, and it just takes all the color out.
So we're removing the dye, and it's another white background.
So let's us start to play. And you and I have played this game before. So
many hours.
So you could, and what we're using is dishwasher gel. It's the stuff that you put in your dishwasher. And it happened one time when I was putting it in, I gooped it on my hands, and I went and wiped it. And then color started coming out, and I thought, hey, we can harness this. And that's really what we've been doing. So it's not an exact science. If you put too much of that on here, you're going to get holes.
Right.
But then that involves applique, so that's not all bad.
We just keep going.
So, I mean, you have to play around and just
Right.
decide. I'd suggest you try it on a little sample. A little sample is a good way to go. So, okay, you've been loving the stamps.
I do. I love the rollers. So I just roll it in the gel.
In the gel.
And then I sort of go like this.
Okay, I think we can do that.
Can you do that one?
Yeah, and of course you would take a stamp.
Right.
And, I mean, this is just kids.
Kids would love to do this.
Good at this, yes.
I found some bubble wrap, which annoys me in its true form. But let's see it
in a classroom.
Yes, let's see what it does as a stamp.
Okay. Because everything really is potentially a stamp.
Right. And we want to make sure we don't have too much stuff that it...
Yeah. Yeah, it sort of makes bubbles.
You sort of see the little
you do.
holes in it.
That's good stuff.
That's an interesting combo.
You can kind of go over there. What else could you use for a stamp?
Well, Linda, there's a bottle cap.
Oh, yeah, that would
work.
Yeah,
but I'm going to work with a piece of styrofoam.
Oh, look at that, Joan.
Look at that. That could be fun.
Oh,
The styrofoam actually has a pattern already imprinted on it that we could roll with just to get a little bit of goop on it.
Good. So, Joan, should we tell them the other secret of this? You really should put on some old clothes when you do this.
Oh, you should, because as we know, we're trying to take the color out of the fabric, and it really does take the color out of whatever fabric that is near it. I have 3 black T-shirts that are now individually designed
with
goop on them. And you just make the goop work further.
Okay, so this would be complete. Let's just stop with this. Let me get rid of this.
Okay.
So you really should have an apron on or something to protect yourself. And so there we go. We'll take this away. And you've got to let that dry.
Right.
So once it's dry...
You want to, sorry.
Oh, just a minute. You're already washing it.
Well, you could show
This is what it looks like, when it dries. It goes all stiff and kind of hard.
And
so
you know it's dry because it turns white.
Yeah, it does.
It turns a white.
And then you want to wash it.
And when you begin to wash it...
Yeah. I just put it in the washing machine. I mean, that's the easiest. But we thought just to show you that when you start to wash it, you'll see the color, and it's turning brown, just like it is on Joan's jacket. So it is kind of fun, and you could further embellish that now with foiling,
right?
Which is what you've done on here,
right?
And then you could go with the metals. So let's get over here. So put that in the washing machine, wash it a couple times, get all that terrible old gel out of it, and then you could then start metaling. So if you look at this, you'll see this is a pocket of blue jean.
Right.
And I then bleached it, and I'd used the fine tips on the, and I say bleach, but I mean dishwasher gel.
Right.
And then I foiled it, and then I put some metals. And the metals are so simple. You just put the metal down wherever you want. You heat up your little doomajig, and you put this down on here, and leave it on for about 10 seconds. And take it off.
It's amazing how quickly it does adhere to the
Glue
fabric.
is
but
cement.
This is very hot, too, if you touch it.
Yeah. So that's like cement. You did it with your school kids, didn't you?
I did. Yeah. And they absolutely enjoyed every minute of it.
I'm sure
their bandanas were the most striking.
I'm sure. I mean, look at the bottom of a jean leg. Would that be fun with the bleach, with the foil?
Gorgeous.
With the metals, with whatever. So
they would take it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is high-priced stuff.
They will glitz up anything they can. Yeah. I can see them doing.
And I would say this is not expensive. This is fun and fast and easy.
Almost a good birthday party for older kids.
What a good birthday party, yes.
It would be.
Thanks, Joan. We've got to go. We're just out of time. So thanks again, and we'll play some more next time.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Don't go away. There's more.
Guests of our show stay at Travel Lodge. Nice rooms, great people. Models provided by Chan International. #1 in personal development training, modeling, and acting.
Believe if you can dream it, you can make it. And I love how so many of you do just exactly that. I do love getting your letters and your emails and your pictures. If you have questions, jokes, or funny stories, tips or tricks, or even just little comments about the show, I'd love to hear from you. Now, if you'd like to contact us, get a pen and paper ready for the end of the show, and you'll see the address and website, which has guest and project information. Get inspired from the show. Dig out your needles and threads, your fabric and scissors. Get creative. And don't forget to tell us about it. I get so inspired when I come to something like this because I see so many exciting things and I meet so many interesting people. And here's Linda Cameron, you're braiding person extraordinaire. Isn't that what you do?
I do a lot of braiding.
Yes.
Nice to have you here. You fit right in.
Yes, I do. I'm sort of raggy today. And you start with pieces of fabric.
Yes, I do. I use quilting type cottons.
Yes.
And they're all braided. And then I sew them into a variety of shapes of
hearts and rugs
three-dimensional things.
Yes, and hats. And the hats are just exquisite. Well, can you give us a bit of an idea? Well, first of all, how long have you been doing this?
I've been making hats for about 10 years.
Oh, wow. And what got you started?
I wanted to do traditional straw millinery with the straw braid.
Okay.
And I couldn't find that, so as a custom sewer, I was using a lot of fabric.
Yes.
Decided to take that traditional technique and use fabric instead.
Okay, and this hat, I think, so this is sort of like the straw hats.
Yes, it's made in a similar way to the straw hat.
Yeah.
Except that it's using fabric, so you've got all kinds of color and print.
Yeah.
And if somebody sits on it,
that's okay.
This is fine.
This is good. This is good. So beautiful. Okay, let's just have a quick demo of how we're going to begin.
Mm-hmm. So I cut the fabrics into strips.
Doesn't matter if they're on the bias or straight or whatever.
I usually use on cross grain from selvage to selvage.
Okay.
And then I arrange the colors out. I know how many strips of fabric I'm going to need for a given project.
Sure. And you can organize the colors so that you know that that's going to be all blue and then it's going to, okay.
Yeah. And I know how things are going to move through.
Yeah.
Then once that's done, I start braiding.
Okay, let's see the braiding business. So you don't have any of those gizmos, you just braid?
No, I do it without them. A person certainly could.
Sure.
It's just an extra step.
And I see you're going to run out there, so...
And I will have to add a new one on.
So no sewing, this is just overlapping. Lovely.
Overlap. It's going to be braided over 2 or 3 picks, and then it's braided right in.
Sure, and you keep on going.
It's good and strong.
Good, yeah. And as you were doing that, I see you're sort of tucking in your edges, and you're keeping it quite flat.
Yes, I'm keeping it really flat because I don't want a round braid. For the mats and things that I make, I want them to be really flat on the table.
Sure. Okay. And, let's see. Have you got some of that done then? Like how much of this does it take to make one of these?
For a hat like this, there's 14 meters of braid.
Okay, it takes you a day or two then to do that, I'm thinking.
Well, no, it takes about an hour and a half.
Oh,
but
really?
That's after 10 years of experience.
Okay, and then to begin to assemble, what are we going to do?
I start and I loop. You'll end up with a loop of some length, depending on what shape you want to make, oval or round.
Okay, and you
start sewing, and you're going to
zigzag that together,
over,
and then keep on going
around and around and around. And depending on what kind of shape you want to make, you can manipulate the braid and get.
Sure. I can imagine if you pull this a little tighter, then it starts to go up, and I can sort of get the idea.
So you can control
Fascinating. I don't think anybody's going to ever put you out of business, because this looks like a big job, and this looks like a lot of work, but keep on doing this. This is fantastic.
Well, thank you.
A show like this is just full of inspiration, and I get so excited when I see something like this. This booth was just full of people. And Melody, tell us what it's all about.
I do a line of recycled vintage clothing for women. So everything's made from vintage pieces, and we cut it up and piece it back together.
Oh, that's what you've got on. Are you serious?
Yeah, this is actually recycled sweatshirt pieces. So we cut up sweatshirts, flip them inside out, and then trim them up, and they're into a new jacket.
Oh, I'm just delighted to see somebody using all these things that would be thrown away. So you must have quite a collection of oddball stuff. I shouldn't say oddball, because there's some really interesting stuff. What got you going on sewing? Have you been sewing for a long time?
Well, my parents were both into sewing. My dad does upholstery, and my mom would sew clothes for us.
So you were destined. I mean, there's no... That's great. That's great. And how long have you been doing this?
My business has been going for 2 years.
Okay. I know that we've got somebody in the dressing room.
Yes.
Suzanne, is it?
Suzanne,
yes. So let's have her come out. Wow. So tell me, this is fabric. This is not recycled.
Well, actually, no, this is recycled vintage bed sheets. So each dress turns out uniquely.
Oh,
and
wonderful.
it's made from vintage linens, bed linens.
Oh, wonderful. And even the lace, the eyelet
The
part?
lace we've added is new, as well as the belt and the trim at the bottom.
Sure. And let's turn around. Great. Yeah. Fantastic. So should we put a little jacket on with this?
Sure, yeah. Often we sell the little dresses with these little recycled vintage sweater vests.
Okay.
Which I call a mini sweater.
Well, so often people think they can't cut sweaters because they're going to turn,
Yes.
they're going to dissolve or something.
Yeah.
But sure, you serge them and you can, it's like a piece of fabric, isn't it?
Right, yeah. Definitely. And then the one that Suzanne has actually has lace in the back.
Okay.
So I get you to turn around, Suzanne.
And then it's, oh yes, is that cute?
Which
Is that or
really
what?
quite pretty for the summer.
Yeah,
and
so
over
this
the
is
dress.
recycled from some kind of a dress or?
It's not actually. The lace is new.
Oh, it
so
is,
we do
okay.
throw in new things as
Sure.
well as the ribbon.
Sure,
The little
sure.
findings are new, but the sweater itself was recycled.
Okay, and I saw somebody earlier going by trying, oh, they look so cute. So
Yeah,
good
thank
job.
you.
I'm
Thank
sure glad
you.
to meet you and keep it. What's
Thank you.
coming next?
Next, well, we have a new line of items for fall, which
Oh,
will
lovely.
be some more sweater dresses, longer sweater tunics,
Oh,
jackets,
the
a
mind
cowneck
keeps
sweater.
going. This
Yeah.
is good. This is good. Okay, thanks so much. That's
You're
great.
welcome.
What do you think of this jacket? We just did some fine jackets, but a little bit of embroidery is rather lovely on a jean jacket like this. And to help me do this, or the person that actually did this, is my friend Trevor, and you're the king of embroidery.
Well,
as far
thank
as
you,
I'm
Linda.
concerned.
That's a nice compliment.
Well, you've been doing this for 25?
25 years,
Okay,
yes.
yeah, like I've been sewing for 25 years too, so we make
Just
a good
since
team.
I was 2.
Yeah, exactly, and I was very, very little too, so yeah.
Okay.
So how did this happen?
Well, actually, we took one of your patterns, and what we really wanted to do was to come up with a design that really showed how you could build your embroidery to complement the pattern of the jacket.
I have to comment on this because I think that is so true, is that I so often see a little plunk someplace on a garment, and I think they did that afterwards. If you plan it beforehand, you can actually plan exactly where everything goes. And that's the reason that I sew, because that way I can plan it. So
What I think is really cool is how we incorporated the pocket so that the pattern comes right up and on top of the pocket.
Exactly. I mean, that separates the sheep from the goats as far as I'm concerned. So this
right.
is good. This is good. So you designed this pattern, or you drew it out?
Yeah, in our office back home.
Yeah.
It's a small team of us that all work together on these things.
Sure.
And
I sent you this fabric. So
Linda sent me the fabric and the pattern, and then it took on kind of a little life of its own.
It was kind of a challenge.
Absolutely, yeah. So we all worked together, and
so you've got that put in here now.
this
that
is
pattern.
partially sewn, and what this is the back panel from the vest.
Okay.
And what's really awesome about having a large embroidery hoop like this is it makes it really easy to do large size embroidery.
Like one time. You don't have to stop and rehoop
Yeah,
and
that
blah, blah.
whole back panel of your vest will sew within one hoop. We won't have to unhoop and rehoop.
Lovely,
So that makes it easy to do.
Because I could go and make supper and that'll be done.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like that. So you've got it in here, and you'll just hook that thing on, and
we would just leave it on the machine and be ready to sew.
All right. So that is ready to now carry on. But it makes too much noise. I won't turn
That's
it on
fine.
right now. Okay. All right. So let's go over here and sort of, there are people that do have an existing jacket and they want to put a design on it. That's another possibility. They could hoop that jacket.
Absolutely. You can hoop a finished garment. You just have more sort of freedom when you can sew on the panels.
Yes. And that's why people like me like to sew, because that way I can design it. So I sort of thought, okay, I could just take my front and back, and I kind of drew some really rough pictures here, but it kind of gives you an idea of where you could put designs, and that's really probably your thought process, is that we could do a nice design across there. We could either do it down center back, or we could do it down here and do it down here, which is what you ended up doing. The front is always a different challenge, because you could do it on the yokes, or you could do it on the pocket flaps, or you could do it down here. And so you chose to do it down there and on the pocket flaps. So that's kind of neat. But you could also top stitch this whole thing in yellow, or you could, tie all the colors. There's just so many ways. That's why sewing is so fun.
Yeah, and embroidery is really exciting for me too.
Yeah, because it gives you the same kind of possibilities, but I think it must be an interesting thing not to just embroider or plunk something. I mean, that's okay, but
I love
to work it in.
Yeah, whenever somebody's making a garment, it's so much more fun.
Yeah. You said you did a pair of jeans where you had a dragon going up the side of the jeans and whatever.
Yes.
I mean, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, they're really cool. Maybe next time you come, I'll try and bring them for you.
Yeah, or make me. How about make me?
Okay, I'll
something
make
like
you
that.
a dragon.
Okay, so here we go. This, then, you embroidered these out, figuring out that this was your yoke and that size would fit on that, and you just embroidered it out on a piece of the fabric.
You know, and Linda, we used that really large hoop, but if somebody didn't have a large hoop, we created all of these designs so that they were sort of modular, so that if you had a smaller hoop, you could do it in pieces. So it's nice having the large hoop, but it doesn't mean it's only for people with big hoops.
Sure.
Anybody could make it.
Sure. Okay, I like that. So then really what you've done is sort of rough cut, and I often do this when I'm making a garment, is rough cut something, because I'm going to embellish it or I'm going to do something. So you sort of rough cut your pocket flap. Is that the pocket flap?
Yes.
And then rough cut the, so...
And I think that way you can get it all sort of perfectly lined up.
Because we sewers don't want to waste a whole bunch of fabric. You know that too. So if we can kind of plan it out a little bit and then put your design where it's rough cut.
Yeah.
And then you're set. So.
You do lose a little, when you're embroidering on panels, you do lose a little bit more. You can't cut your panels as close as when you're not embroidering.
This is what I'm thinking, that if I'd already cut this out, you really
you
would
wouldn't have used that much. That's right.
And you would have had a tough time placing that on your hoop. You'd have to sew it onto a bigger piece. And
much more
so
challenging, yes.
We're just better off to just put these on first and then cut them out. So having done all that, the jean jacket goes together quite nicely, you'll find. I mean, it's just...
Well, you look
and you
fabulous.
can put sleeves in it if you want, or no sleeves. And, thank you. You'll have to have one to match. But let me do this, because I, of course, can never leave well enough alone. So I sort of think, well, let's just give it some oomph, give it a little bit of punch. And these are just the metals, and we've just placed the metals in various places. And have you got the little doomajig?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
There we are.
So that's, and this
Careful,
is all...
it's hot.
Just check. Yeah, it is hot. So that's all we're going to do is just put one like that and give it about 10 seconds, and that's going to do it.
Yeah, I really love jeweling. It really adds a lot of pop.
It does. So thanks, Trevor. We're out of time. We've got to go. It's been great, and I have to come back again.
Good. I love your jacket.
Okay. See you next time.
To receive the companion book for this series with all of the project details, send $19.98 to the address on your screen or call 1-888-MacPhee or visit us on the web at www.MacPheeWorkshop.com. Sponsored in part by Janome, quality sewing machines since 1921. And by Rowenta, the garment care experts, meeting the needs of the sewing enthusiast for over 100 years with high-performance irons, steamers, steam generators, and ironing boards. And Wonderfill Specialty Threads, thread for the way you sew. And by the Woolen Mill Store, your source for quality fabrics and more, featuring the largest selection of wool and wool blend, yardage from Pendleton Woolen Mills. And by Horn of America, experience quality, innovative ideas, and customer service. And Creative Festival, bursting at the seams with hundreds of industry experts, conference classes, exhibits, and more. Experience creativity in the making.